Although Fortnite just started, Chapter 4 Season 5 is just over a fortnight away. Today, for that reason, we have leaks in this final 26.30 update regarding what's upcoming and how the cinematic trailer is going to be playing out with the time machine being activated once again. Don't forget, when picking up the battle pass or anything from the item shop, it would mean the world to me and my dog Charlie the Charcoal Pug if you could enter code FM1 inside there. Literally one of the shortest and easiest codes to enter, and I spent $100 on this cutout literally just to get Charlie to sit in front of it was actually harder. Last video I wanted to know the name of this, so here's a bunch of hearted comments on screen right now that got that right. Today, however, I want to know the name of this, so let me know down below in the comments, and if you get it right, it could be shown hearted on screen in the next video, so make sure you subscribe with all notifications turned on so you get to that video as soon as it's uploaded. Diving straight into it all, before Season 5 of course releases on November 3rd, which hasn't changed as the end date for this season on the Battle Pass, with Fortnite launching, week 1 being the Blood Moon Rising quest that obviously we can complete for XP, and a certain amount, 25 quests total, will get us this loading screen teasing we're going back to Chapter 1 Season 5. Week 2 of the Fortnite quests have just released, being Trick and Treats, with all of these on screen right now currently when I'm recording. Here are all the free rewards for Fortnite for those that haven't seen anyways, and specifically the most interesting one is the Within the Sanctum image, not only showing the Mythic Kinetic Blade held by boss Kato Thorn, which is a lot tougher than any other Mythic boss I think we've ever seen. What's cool about this is it confirms this location, a vault within the vault that has the time machine in that we saw for the first time in the Season 4 trailer. This place is even more important than the standard vault we can steal mythics from out of the cases, called the Sanctum. Despite the Fortnite free rewards, the Horde Rush rewards are now available, including all of the XP, which gets you a total of 225,000 for completing them all. The reason I mention that is because it's not so obvious, as it didn't launch with the Fortnite update or 26.30 once it did go live. It's also going down a treat, as Firemonkey tweeted out the following: Horde Rush at the time he tweeted has 159,200 players, which is currently 70% of the zero build player base, 64.56% of Battle Royale, 244% of ranked playlist Battle Royale, 920% of Save the World, 1040% of the ranked zero build player base, 4189% of Team Rumble, and 8378% of Party Royale. Another tip for just beating this mode in general is going in the unbreakable jungle trees if your final fight with the Caretaker actually happens to land there. And although FNCS is going down right now in Copenhagen, one of my friends is there, and this is what the insane trophy looks like. Although we've been able to earn free rewards for this at Legends Landing by watching certain amount of minutes on certain days, on top of the community cup that has now gone, giving us access to all the free cosmetics that hit the item shop before they release. This begs the question, considering the final version of 26.30 that's now live in game, with the battle bus being implemented to celebrate this FNCS event where something might get revealed more about Season 5. Are we going to be seeing a mini or limited time battle pass event, as Fortnite of course would have been the perfect time to introduce it for the Halloween period or theme. Although they were introduced before Chapter 4, we've seen one in every season of Chapter 4 since it started. Most Wanted Chapter 4 Season 1, Find the Force Chapter 4 Season 2, Break the Curse Chapter 4 Season 3. Honestly, it's looking unlikely for Chapter 4 Season 4 as we're in the final version as previously mentioned, and also Epic Games not only seems to be preparing content for Season 5 and a huge comeback, or throwback should I say, with the time machine that we're going to be getting into now, but also another end event occurring like we saw the Black Hole in Chapter 1 within the Chapter 1 island, of course occurring December 2nd, going into Chapter 5 Season 1 on December 3rd. Initially, all this started in downtime. Of course, we had this loading screen leaked before the servers went live, showing the time machine activated with Revenant Kato Thorn stood in front of it, showing where he'd appear as a mythic boss, but most importantly, the time machine with a date on it in the background where we're planning to go back to, being the 12th of July 2018, which is actually the American date displayed, because in the UK it would be 2018 12/7, but of course for Americans this is backwards. I don't know why we do it different, but I digress. This happens to land in Chapter 1 Season 5, which was revolutionary as it was the first season to launch after the first ever live event that occurred in gaming history, Blast Off. Even this was teased prior to it happening, from the Visitor of course launching the rocket that we thought was a bad guy back then. It's just crazy to think how far Fortnite's come in terms of the storyline. Obviously, because in comparison to now, we're praying for the Seven's return, if not this particular character, to come and save everything, as people speculated Donald Mustard would be underneath the mask, kind of like we had Dwayne The Rock Johnson underneath the Foundation and Brie Larson for the Paradigm. Would have been a nice send-off for his retirement, but of course this may not happen and is looking unlikely as of now. I'm sure a lot of you won't remember toys or even think about these as cosmetics, but yeah, this was the first season that introduced them. On top of the all-terrain carts, lazy links, paradise palms, all of these iconic things, most notably Kevin the Cube spawning in randomly, as we saw on Ninja Stream, most memorably by the entire community just on the outskirts of Paradise Palms through a strike of lightning. This was technically kind of a live event happening from the mid-season to the end, where it sank into Loot Lake, then showing the aftermath of that in the Season 6 Darkness Rises trailer. Without reminiscing on Chapter 1 Season 5 too much, what once was, of course with us going back to this period, it's not going going to be exactly the same. Until then, over the next few days or weeks, we're going to be seeing these Chapter 1 Season 5 Worlds Collide props appear as we saw from the real world going into Fortnite in that trailer within Chapter 4 as Hypex stated in this tweet. And just before we hop onto the trailer details about the cinematic and what's going to be happening for Chapter 4 Season 5, the Time Machine date initially got backed up by data miners during 26.30 or Fortnite Mayor's update downtime from Sheena stating, leak, the Chapter 1 map is returning in Chapter 4 Season 5. The season will have old models and guns, it will be insanely fast paced and has constant map changes until the end of November. I can confirm this information with Hypex and FBR sections. He then followed up with these specific details about more occurring from Chapter 1, so strap in. Kept the last tweet short, but here's a more in-depth explanation of Chapter 4 Season 5 according to reliable information. The Time Machine will lose control and a rift will teleport our map to the Chapter 1 map. At this point, information becomes less clear, but it seems that the maps could be mixed together in some way. Next season's map will have chunks of the Chapter 1 map, and it will most likely rotate specific seasons on a weekly basis. Both old guns and old models are set to return, and big parts of this leak come from a source that Hypex and FBR sections also trust. With that in mind, we may already have a tease of Epic Games to what the map does look like considering this information. For instance, what Saber Circa managed to state over on Twitter here, theory, Fortnite recently released the check the map emote showing the Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 maps combined. As we return to Chapter 1 next season and re-experience the Black Hole event leading into Chapter 5, may this be our first look into the next chapter's map. I don't believe this will be the Chapter 5 map, and I'm not saying it's going to be the Chapter 4 Season 5 or Chapter 1 Season 5 map we go back to. This won't be the case. If it is a mixture of Chapter 4 and Chapter 1, however, this goes to show that they're not shy in terms of merging two sets of chapters maps together. As he mentioned briefly, we're going to be re-experiencing the end event or the Black Hole from Season X, you heard that right. Hopefully during the Black Hole downtime state we can play the minigame again though that I managed to get a million score on. Let me know if you actually played this back then. Hypex of course had more information on this, stating Chapter 1's return. A reliable source claimed a day before Season 4 of Chapter 4 launched that Chapter 1 returns in Season 5 due to the Time Machine breaking, and that will cycle through Chapter 1 seasons for a month with constant map changes and OG weapon / loot pool until the Black Hole, and then we go into Chapter 5. And today, we see Chapter 1 Season 5 teasers. Also heard similar things and hints from multiple sources with FBR sections and Sheena. So with us starting in Chapter 1 Season 5, when we go back in this particular chapter, maybe it goes through all of the Seasons 5 until Season X when the end event did occur, and we get an alternate POV or angle on what happened and why it did. For instance, it would be cool if we were like taking part inside the rockets, you know, like helping the 7, considering we now know all of the members. And with that said, hopefully considering the scientist seems to be the brains behind everything the 7 do in terms of technology or actual moves they make, we finally know what the scientist, although we thought it was the visitor at the time that Donald Mustard then confirmed was the scientist by tweeting all of these voice lines out, what all of these voice lines mean that we could pick up in tape form around the Chapter 1 Season X island.
What the 7 of us are attempting is very risky. I suspect they are not the only ones watching, but it must be done or we lose the bridge forever. I speculate that no one calculated the formation of the island, that interdimensional matter collisions would resolve rather than push. Now that I witnessed it firsthand, it's obvious that pinching alone made it inevitable. When I hear this again, will it help me remember? Or once looped, will I be just as muted as the others? No matter, it seems the lengthy precautions worked. The theorem was a success. You arrived outside the loop at the exact moment of expansion. This effectively paused the singularity, giving us time to create the devices needed to synchronize the junction. What I didn't factor was that the only way to trigger the device was from within the loop itself. Thus this hasty and primitive recording, and why now I find myself looped. Activate the beacon at precisely the moment this timer reaches nothing. The 0 point must be contained once more. If they are correct, it will be the end.
Of course though, in the Chapter 4 Season 5 cinematic, we can't forget about the fact it's been mentioned that something goes wrong with the Time Machine. Of course, Kado Thorne actually owning or using this for the first time coming into the Fortnite universe. As Agent Jones is back on the island as an NPC now that's found his way here somehow, is this going to be Agent Jones that tries to hijack it, go back in time and get things right this time, or Sloan, or even both of these characters finally teaming up after being at constant rivalry together, with Sloan being seconds away from fully eliminating Jones in the Chapter 2 end event. We may actually find out more about this, what's happening in that cinematic, but even the chapter finale this Sunday, Sheena put out the question, do you think we'll get a Season 5 teaser on Sunday? Sunday is the final day of the FNCS Invitational, and last year we got both a chapter and event announcement. For those that can't remember, this was an FNCS Invitational, and this got revealed, you know, fracture for the Chapter 3 finale event, meaning we're going to be going to a brand new island, which is also confirmed for Chapter 5. One thing we do know for sure about next month when the Fortnite crew rotates, as this is the last update before 27.00 or Chapter 4 Season 5 when we go back in time. To complement this time travel fashion, like the introduced skin in Chapter 1 Season 8, Hybrid, this lizard-looking character, which then made sense of the eggs that we found at Polar Peak, as they were also located inside the volcano, being the spawn of these things. November's crew pack, as data miners have found in multiple different variants and styles, also will be a different or alternate take on Hybrid. Speaking of FireMonkey and what he's tweeted out about, literally when I'm recording right now, 2 minutes ago, Fortnite apparently on their official competitive Twitter account for Brazil used a gif of Chapter 1 Season X in a tweet hyping up Day 2 of the Global Championship, which obviously foreshadows we're going up until then next season, Season X, when the Black Hole event occurred, inside of Chapter 4 Season 5, or should I say just before Chapter 5. We have a name for every season, and considering that one for Chapter 1 Season 5 was Worlds Collide, they may use the same one and go with this again to directly resemble, yes, we are indeed going back in time to this particular reality instead of like an alternate one. Or this could happen and they call it something different. The name I came up with was Worlds Rewind, as we're going back in time for the first time in Fortnite's universe. The most interesting part of next season, however, is we're either going to be seeing one battle pass or literally 5 within one season. You've heard that right. The first scenario is Chapter 4 Season 5, despite going back in time to the Chapter 1 Season 5 island, brings a whole new battle pass full of skins we've never seen. Scenario 2 is Chapter 1 Season 5's battle pass returns, and hopefully the OGs who had it back then get different styles like we've seen for the Ghoul Trooper, Skull Trooper, and other fan favourite OG love skins. Or to correlate to this Season X tease about it returning, as Fortnite's Brazil competitive Twitter showed, we very well could be getting all of these Chapter 1 battle passes returned for literally like a very limited time. Why this could happen, you wonder? Well, Justin Neagle described it best over on Twitter. Epic Games may have found a loophole for next season. This has been their battle pass disclaimer since 2018. Well, if they time travel next season and we're back in Chapter 1 Season 5, what's stopping them from making those battle pass rewards available again in that season? And what he's referring to in the image attached says, rewards from a battle pass can only be earned in that season and will not be available in later seasons. Drop a like if you're hyped for Season 5 or like the sound of that, and subscribe to the channel with all notifications turned on so that you don't miss any more leaks pouring out about it by the day. Don't forget to enter code FM1 now or the next time you log on in time for the Halloween skins releasing, like Jack Skellington and also Michael Myers. As for where you go to now though, click either of these two videos. YouTube's recommended you on screen, you won't regret it, whilst you wait for the very next one I do publish on the channel.